guys, what's going on? It's MassiveJoes RAW review, and I'm coming to you from MassiveJoes.com. Awesome raw review for the viewers at home today on one of the most highly anticipated blended creatine / recovery / muscle building supplements on the market at this point in time from our good friends at Ghost Lifestyle. It is, of course, Ghost Size in the house. Let's get straight into it, show you guys exactly what's in it, tell you exactly what it's going to do. That nutritional information panel, although very well in focus, ain't gonna get it done. We're about to go balls deep in this here Ghost Size. Luckily, got ourselves a big ass nutritional information panel for the viewers at home. Dylan, go ahead and throw that panel up on the screen, starting from the top. And I will point out that what you're seeing on screen at the moment is the neutral flavor, or the Ghost Lifestyle take on I guess an unflavored version of this Ghost Size. Starting from the top, 1 scoop, 11.6 grams, got yourself about 30 of them 1 scoop, 11.6 gram bitches. And one of these Ghost Size neutral unflavored bitches. In terms of what the 1 scoop 11.6 grams is made up of, Ghost, as they do with all of their supplements, provide full disclosure, a fully open and transparent nutritional information panel. So we can do a quick addition, add up all of the active ingredients, quickly discover there's 10.8 grams of actives in an 11.6 gram scoop. So we're dealing with 93% active ingredients, and in the neutral flavor, just 7% stabilizers and some natural flavors to offset, I guess, some of the nasty tasting active ingredients. I will at this point, I'm gonna do something a little bit different. I don't usually do this until we get to how it tastes, how it mixes, but this Ghost, I do have to point this out at this point in time to set context, because there is 2 flavors of this Ghost Size. There is the neutral, which is the OG, the unflavored version that we just went through with the 93% active, 7% non-actives. And then there is the newly, at the time of shooting this raw review, newly released flavored Ghost Size, which is the sour watermelon flavor. And so far as the sour watermelon flavor is concerned, obviously there's artificial flavors, sweeteners, colors on top of what's in the neutral. So when we look at the flavored version, the sour watermelon, we're dealing with a 14.1 gram scoop, so a slightly bigger scoop, 77% active ingredients, and then 23% non-active ingredients, the flavors, the sweeteners, the colors, so on and so forth. In terms of what the active ingredients are made up of, starting from the top, we've got what Ghost have called a full yield creatine, and they've used 2 different types of creatine. So I'm going to split these up and talk about them separately, but then together. Let's just roll. Starting from the top, creatine hydrochloride, 3.21 grams, which delivers 2.5 grams of free-form creatine. Creatine hydrochloride, obviously creatine bonded to hydrochloric acid. And then creatine monohydrate, 2.84 grams, delivering the same 2.5 total grams of free-form creatine. Creatine monohydrate, obviously creatine bonded to hydrate. Now, both of these types of creatine obviously yield that free-form creatine by the time they get through your gastrointestinal tract, get digested, sent into the bloodstream. Creatine, for viewers at home who are unaware, is a precursor to adenosine triphosphate, aka ATP. ATP is the fuel source that our bodies use in the phosphate energy system, which is the energy system we use when we're effectively lifting weights. More ATP means more fuel for working muscle. So effectively, creatine is going to have the net effect of increasing muscle power and allowing you to train harder for longer and stimulate more muscle growth. Now, when we consider the 2 types of creatine Ghost have used in here, generally speaking, our clinical or efficacious dose of creatine hydrochloride is about 1 to maxing out at like 2 grams, we've got 3.21 grams of creatine hydrochloride here, so like stupidly overdosed. I mean, if you're using the efficacious dose of 1 gram, it's like more than 3 times that efficacious dose. On the other hand, creatine monohydrate, because your body creates a lot of waste product with creatine monohydrate, it's not as easily digested. And even though these 2 types of creatine are yielding the same free form, the same amount of free form creatine, the 2.5 grams, the actual amount that your body is able to get into the bloodstream and use as a precursor to ATP is completely different when you're comparing hydrochloride to monohydrate. And because of that, the efficacious or clinical dose of creatine monohydrate is about 5,000 milligrams or 5 grams, and we only have 2.84 grams of creatine monohydrate in each and every serve of this ghost size. So stupidly overdosed on the creatine hydrochloride side of things, and quite significantly about 50% underdosed on the creatine monohydrate side of things. So it's kind of, it's an interesting blend that Ghosts have gone for here, rather than just, picking one of them and clinically dosing it. They've blended the 2 and overdosed the hydrochloride, but then underdosed the monohydrate. It is what it is. It's very unique for what it's worth. Moving right along, we then get into betaine in a 2,500 milligram dose or 2.5 gram dose. Betaine, aka trimethylglycine, boosts muscle protein synthesis. Betaine is actually a methyl donor, and it works by transferring a methyl group to homocysteine, resulting in methionine. And methionine then is what is responsible for boosting protein synthesis, but quite uniquely also boosts creatine synthesis. So it's quite a good addition to any creatine blend because of that fact. The clinical dose of betaine is 1.5 to 2 grams. We have 2.5 grams, so we would go so far as to say it's overdosed. We then get into a carnosine, beta-alanine, the best beta-alanine we have seen thus far, in a 2 gram dose. Beta-alanine, for viewers at home who are unaware, increases the concentration of carnosine in working muscles, which buffers the buildup of fatigue toxins such as lactic acid, hydrogen ions, and other fatigue toxins. The net effect of beta-alanine is it's going to improve muscular endurance, which is why we tend to see beta-alanine used in either pre or intra-workout supplements, not often used in recovery post-workout muscle building supplements, but it is what it is. Clinical dose of beta-alanine, 3.2 grams. We only have 2 grams, so we would have to go so far as to say that it's underdosed. Moving right along, we then get into epicatechin at a 200 milligram dose, yielding 90% epicat. So they've effectively used an extract. Epicatechin occurs in a bunch of different foods, but primarily it occurs in cocoa and green tea extracts. So they've obviously used one of those extracts, haven't really told us which one, but we know that the extract is yielding 90% epicatechin. So we've got a 200 milligram extract at 90%, so we've got 180 milligrams of epicatechin. For viewers at home who are unaware, epicatechin is a flavonol found in green tea and cocoa, as I just mentioned to you guys. It's pretty cool. It increases something called follistatin. It increases the production of follistatin, which in turn inhibits the action of myostatin. Now, for those of you who don't understand what myostatin is and the relationship between follistatin and myostatin, myostatin is a type of protein that effectively puts an upper limit on the rate of muscle growth. So it kind of pumps the brakes, so to speak, on how quickly you can build muscle. So anything that we can do to inhibit myostatin or reduce the activity of myostatin is going to allow muscle growth to happen at a faster rate. Epicat allows, or epicatechin, shortened to epicat, that's what I like to call it, because we homies and shit, allows your body to produce more follistatin, and follistatin has the effect of inhibiting the activity of myostatin. So effectively, more follistatin, less activity of myostatin, more rapid growth, more rapid rate of muscle growth. That's how the two work. That's the relationship. So effectively what we're looking at here with your epicatechin or epicat is by increasing follistatin production, it's going to remove those brakes on the rate of muscle growth. The clinical dose of Epicatechin to get this effect is 150 to 200 milligrams. As I mentioned, we have a 90% concentration in a 200 milligram extract, so we have 180 milligrams. So we would go so far as to say it's perfectly dosed. Moving right along then into our final ingredient, we have estrogen in a 50 milligram dose. Estrogen is an Astragalus membranaceus and Panax, not a ginseng extract made by a company called New Live Science. It helps boost the absorption of active ingredients and other nutrients in our small intestine. And check out these numbers, viewers at home. 43% increase in double-blind placebo studies in amino acid absorption into our bloodstream. 18% increase in production of adenosine triphosphate. So it's going to work perfectly with the combination of the two types of creatine and the betaine to boost creatine and therefore boost the synthesis of adenosine triphosphate, aka ATP. 38% increase in insulin sensitivity and 57% increase in glucose absorption. The clinical dose of estrogen to get these effects is 50 milligrams. We have 50 milligrams, so we would go so far as to say it's perfectly dosed. Got yourself in the flavored version, some artificial colors, flavors, and sweeteners. In the neutral version, some natural flavors and some stabilizers. And that's what's in it. So on paper, quite a unique supplement we're dealing with here, viewers at home. It's obviously a blended creatine supplement, first and foremost, but then you've got something in there that helps increase the synthesis of creatine in the betaine. You've got beta-alanine, which we're not really 100% sure what beta-alanine is doing in this formula. It's kind of strange to put it in this type of formula. Then you've got something that's going to inhibit myostatin, so really pull the brakes off the rate of muscle growth, so allow you to grow muscle faster. And then you've got an ingredient in there that helps your body absorb all that shit. So a very unique, it's not just, and this is when I did the intro where I said it's a blended creatine / muscle builder / recovery. It does a whole bunch of shit. And it's very difficult to kind of put it in a supplement box that we're used to say this is a recovery supplement or this is a blended creatine supplement, because there's so many different things going on in this Ghost size, and we'll get to that a little bit more when we talk about the effects. But for now, in terms of how it tastes, how it mixes, comes in two flavors. Comes in neutral, aka unflavored. Comes in sour watermelon, aka Warheads flavor. Now, I have personally used this neutral, and I will tell you guys, even before we get to the taste and mixability, it's definitely not unflavored. It's kind of got like it's definitely got a taste to it, and it's kind of like a bit of an acidic, tarty type taste. Whatever you mix it with, if you're mixing it with anything, it's gonna alter that taste. It's definitely not unflavored, which is why Ghost have called it neutral. I actually haven't tried the sour watermelon, so perfect timing for the infamous MassiveJoes taste and mixability test about to go down, because I got myself a brand spanking new tub of this Ghost size in the sour watermelon. Ghost, as they do with all of their products, the merchandising is fucking on point. You got the Ghost embossed in the lid. You got the special comic book sticky, what do you call this shit? Comic book safety seal that I can never get open, because they I can't even bro punch this shit. What the Ghost? I swear this is Ghost's version of taking the piss. They glue the shit so damn hard. Finally. You have to smash the out of it to be able to bro punch this bitch in. So much so that you guys would know that Ghost, their scoops sit in the top, but I've had to bro punch this bitch so hard to get the thing open that the scoop has fallen into the top. But it would usually sit nice and perfectly in the top. In fact, let me see if I can put it back, just so I can pay a little bit of respect to Ghost, because I do love this feature about their products. There you go. So it sits nicely in there. So perhaps don't bro punch this bitch in. Give it a nice peel off the top, or get a knife and cut it open so you can appreciate the perfectly sitting scoop. Anyway, got our infamous double wall glass with a spoon. Gonna take myself one level scoop of this here Ghost size, and I will point out that the scoops are on point. Ghost, obviously their scoops are custom because they have their Ghost logo embossed in the scoop, and their scoops actually weigh what they're supposed to weigh, which is good to see. So I'm gonna take myself 1 level scoop of this Ghost size, throw this bitch in this bitch, and let it rain, let it rain. A few flicks of the wrist. And for the very first time on camera, I'm gonna see how this Warhead Sour Watermelon Ghost size tastes, man. But first, I gotta show you guys how this Ghost size mixes. All right, I think that's enough. As you guys can see, it's not perfectly mixed, it's not badly mixed. If I get some zoom and focus action, you can probably see that it is starting already within a few seconds to settle down the bottom. And that is something that is gonna happen. So you kind of got 2 options at that point. You can kind of let it settle, grab the spoon, mix it up again, and then it does, you know, pretty much completely mix into solution. Or you can throw it in a shaker. Because you do have to go through that extra effort, I have to call it, I'm gonna go so far as to say blender ball is required for this here Ghost size. Let me see how this Warhead Sour Watermelon tastes, man. You can see what I'm talking about when I say that it settles down the bottom there. It's pretty damn good, the sour watermelon flavor. Definitely still has the tartiness that you get from the neutral flavor as well coming through. And I think, honestly guys, if you've had creatine hydrochloride by itself, you would know like a 1 to 2 gram serve of creatine hydrochloride will like dominate the flavor of anything you mix it in. They've used 3.21 grams, and it's really that the HCl part of the creatine hydrochloride coming through with that tarty flavor. But I mean, they've done I think the actual sour watermelon flavor does a really good job of kind of offsetting that tardiness, but it is definitely still there and still noticeable in terms of the effects. Tricky supplement, viewers. Tricky supplement. And the reason why I think this supplement is tricky is because I'm not really too sure when Ghost are expecting you to take this product. My personal opinion, it makes sense to take it post-workout with your post-workout shake, with your Ghost Whey, for example, or whatever else you're putting in your post-workout shake. That's what makes sense, because you guys would know I'm a big fan of creatine supplementation post-workout with simple carbs rather than pre-workout. I think the betaine really does complement the creatine supplementation post-workout. Epicats, not that big a deal. You can take them whenever, and having the estrogen in there just to increase the synthesis of ATP once again works really well with the creatine. The problem with taking it post-workout is the beta-alanine. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. And I know you can put the argument forward that you can take beta-alanine whenever. It doesn't need, it's more about reaching a certain saturation point. But most people are taking beta-alanine pre-workout or intra-workout. On the other hand, if you were to take it pre-workout, because of the beta-alanine, you guys know I'm not a big fan of creatine pre-workout, but some people like it. The betaine is fine pre-workout, the estrogen's fine pre-workout, and Epicat, once again, it doesn't really matter when you take it. And it does complement if you're stacking it with Ghost Legend pre-workout, which has no creatine in it. It stacks really well with Ghost Legend. It bumps up the beta-alanine content. It gets you a big dose of betaine, creatine, and estrogen as well. So it stacks with Ghost Legend really well, but for me personally, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to take it pre-workout. So that's what I'm saying when I say it's tricky. And I think ultimately, in terms of the the timing, it's going to come down to personal preference. The other thing it's going to come down to is flavor. Obviously, if you're having it post-workout with your Ghost Whey, you're not going to want the sour watermelon, whereas the sour watermelon stacks really good with Ghost Legend sour watermelon if you're taking it pre-workout. So in terms of the dosage, the timing, it's going to come down to personal preference. If it was me, I'd be going the neutral flavor and I'd be taking it post-workout with my Ghost Whey and just dealing with the beta-alanine tingles that you get post-workout, which is kind of weird because you're used to having them pre or intra-workout, not when you finish training. But if you do want to take it pre-workout, then obviously you can rock the sour watermelon or the neutral flavor. When we consider, once you've got past that and you've figured out when you're going to take it, what you're going to stack it with, how you're going to take it, the effects are great. They're really, really good. And I mean, it's not surprising based on what's in the sup. It's a simple sup, guys. It's got a massive dose of creatine HCl. I'm a big advocate for HCl. I much prefer HCl over monohydrate. So for me personally, the fact that it's got a massive dose of HCl, I honestly couldn't give a that it's underdosed in monohydrate. Doesn't bother me because there's more than enough creatine getting into the bloodstream from the creatine hydrochloride. The fact you got big fan of betaine once again. The fact you got betaine in there with the creatine is an amazing combination. The Epicats, I think the jury is probably still out on Epicats, to be honest with you guys. There's some preliminary studies, some pilot studies that definitely show that it does increase follistatin and does inhibit myostatin. The reason why the jury's still out is because we're not 100% sure what effect that actually has on the rate of muscle growth. So it's kind of like, how long do you draw that bow to the point where you say, yes, Epicats definitely allow you to build muscle faster than you otherwise would. We know definitely they increase follistatin and inhibit myostatin. It's just the flow-on effect from that. The jury's kind of still out on it. But I mean, it's an ingredient that really has shown no side effects. So the fact that it's in here and it could possibly work, I think, you know, is I mean, why wouldn't you have it? And then estrogen, once again, a very proven ingredient that works really well with creatine, betaine, other amino acids that you may be having with your post-workout shake. I mean, the formula is great. For me personally, just by itself, if this formula was literally just that big dose of HCl, betaine, and estrogen, for me, like, that's a solid formula, and everything else on top of that is just plus, bonus, just in case some of this shit works. You know, we'll throw it in there, we may as well have it. So I'm a big fan of this Ghost size. In particular, for me personally, the neutral flavor post-workout with my post-workout shake and everything else I've got in there. It's a fantastic, effectively creatine-based supplement is what I would personally use it for, with some added benefits on top. The final thing I will say about it is price and value for money. So in the Australian marketplace, you're looking at $69.95 for 30 serves. So there's a couple of ways you can look at this. It breaks out at just under $2.50 per scoop. So if you're comparing it to a straight creatine hydrochloride supplement, it's very expensive. If you're comparing it to a straight blended creatine supplement, something that's got a few different types of creatine, it's still, you know, definitely, I wouldn't say expensive, but towards the upper end of what we would expect to see for a 30-serve blended creatine supplement. But then you kind of have to account for the fact that it does have betaine, beta-alanine, epicats, estrogen, and all of these bonuses in there. And I think if you consider the supplement as a whole and everything it's got in there, at $2.33 per serve, at 1 serve per day, it does really represent some pretty damn good value for money from Ghost with this size. And guys, if you're in the market for a really top-notch creatine-based muscle building recovery supplement that is going to get you more than enough creatine through the form of hydrochloride that you'll need in a 24-hour period, plus all the bonuses that come along with this supplement, man, you got to get yourself some of this Ghost size, guys. Hit the subscribe button. subscribe to our YouTube channel, turn your post notifications on both on your mobile, your cell phone, and your desktop PC so you don't miss a beat when it comes to the Massive Joes YouTube channel. And guys, that is MassiveJoes RAW review on the all-new Ghost Size in the house. And I'm coming to you from MassiveJoes.com.
Thank you for tuning in to this video. We hope you enjoyed watching. Don't forget to check out our latest upload and our recommended video, and be sure to subscribe to the MassiveJoes YouTube channel to stay up to date with all of our latest uploads.